Erik ten Hag has insisted that Manchester United have been able to cope without Casemiro this season, but the weekend defeat to Newcastle was the latest evidence that they haven't. Even in the matches they have won without the former Real Madrid man, there has been a clear drop in quality, though they have often found a way to avoid defeat. United's approach at St James Park was evidence of just how much they are suffering in midfield. Not just from the absence of Casemiro, but from the continued time without Christian Eriksen. Ten Hag's dream philosophy is for this United side to be composed and creative with the ball at their feet. His two midfield summer signings are the epitome of that style of play. Casemiro and Eriksen not only have the passing range and technical ability to make things happen out of nothing, but they are both vastly experienced and are rarely flustered when on the pitch. Their expertise would have been priceless on Sunday afternoon, but without them to choose from, Ten Hag couldn't help but select a makeshift midfield that offered little of the composure he craves. What is so alarming is that United have now taken just 1 point from away matches against Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool and Newcastle this season. The only match in which Casemiro and Eriksen both started was the one in which they grabbed the solitary point at Stamford Bridge. It makes those 4 defeats less of a surprise. United have largely coped well since the Denmark international was sidelined against Reading back in January. They have won 10, drawn 3 and lost 2. That is how it looks on paper at least. Anyone who has watched United over the last 3 months will notice that they simply haven't had the same dominance in matches and have had to rely on short bursts to do their damage, rather than controlling most of a game. United's recent form has been bolstered by their success in cup competitions, but the story is very different in the Premier League. Since Eriksen's injury, they have won just 3 of 7 in the top flight. It is well documented that Ten Hag would like to add another creative midfielder to his side in the summer window, but their activity in January proved that it is easier said than done. With a limited budget, they could only afford a loan signing, and despite his best efforts, Marcel Sabitzer would be more of a supplementary squad addition than a meaningful replacement this summer. It's this clear need for another senior creative midfielder that has made Ten Hag's squad selections rather odd in recent weeks. United named 2 goalkeepers on the bench against Newcastle following Aaron Wan-Bissaka's late withdrawal, when it would have made sense to take Kobbie Mainoo or Zidane Iqbal instead. The pair are both raw young talents and might not have been able to ease the Tyneside trauma, but they would at least have been an extra option in the circumstances. Even after the defeat to Newcastle, a top 4 place is in their hands, and it is hard to see 2 sides having the consistency to make them pay should they continue to drop more points. United will also argue that they have navigated a tough spell of their season without 2 of their most influential players and arguably their most important partnership, but there is light at the end of the tunnel with Casemiro back next week and Eriksen now training back on grass. A fairer reflection of where this team is at is when they will have those 2 summer signings back in the side, but the harsh reality is they must also learn to cope on the occasions when they won't be there. United have failed to replace Casemiro, and they have failed to replace Eriksen too. Now